Hello and welcome back to our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentary. And today's episode is one that is very interesting, even though I consider this one of the most forgettable ones, which is Catwalk. An episode that is interesting because we can have a kind of a crossover between villains in here, but I will talk more about it in the episode, okay? Right now, let's do our countdown so we can watch the episode together if you have your DVD box sets, Blu-ray box sets, or streaming service with Batman the Animated Series. So let's go in 3, 2, 1, give it a play. We have here the Warner Bros. Logo. And now we have the new opening for the show, that is The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Because like I said before, every episode that we have the two of them together, we have this new opening. I guess this is a way that the television broadcast found to make it a little more appealing for the kids. I don't know. I really don't know why they changed the classic opening for this one in the episodes with Batman and Robin together. Even though I don't remember if Robin is in this episode. I really don't. Let's check it out during the commentary, but it's a good opening. I guess it's not as near as good as the classic one, but it especially because it's basically a montage of all the scenes with Batman and Robin in their adventures. But anyway, so we have here now the Catwalk, the with the title card, which is pretty cool, by the way, with a silhouette of Catwoman in the moonlight. And the episode shows a Selina Kyle. I forgot to mention, right? This is an episode with Catwoman. And the crossover that I was talking about is with Scarface, which we're going to see very soon in the episode. But we have a Selina Kyle in this episode that is a very depressed Selina Kyle in the beginning, because she's remembering her glory days as Catwoman, right? And it shows her doing this robbery and stealing some jewels. Pretty cool flashback, by the way. Actually, I don't think this is a flashback. This is a new version of the events that happened with her in the past, right? So we see her committing this crime and getting some jewels, and at the same time she also tells the story of when she met Batman and how he's the cause of her problems, but not in a bad way, because she enjoys that. She enjoys the thrill of fighting him and having this conflict with him. But in the end, she was eventually put in prison, arrested. And by the way, we also have a little flashback that recalls the events of the second episode that we saw her in the show, which was Scratch of the Cat Fever, or Cat Fever Scratch, I don't remember, which she was ordered by the judge to never put the Catwoman suit again. Of course, she did it many times after that, but here she's trying to follow the law and walk the straight line to not be put in prison again. So anyway, it's an interesting insight into the mind of a villain, or at least a anti-hero that Catwoman is. It's pretty cool to see that the creators of the show, they really enjoy this character. They really like to create stories for her. In fact, I also mentioned this in one of my videos, the video about the episodes that were written or considered to be part of the show, but they were never made. They were canceled because of I don't know, whatever the creators decided, or budget or things like that. And there was an interest in doing a solo, or at least a spin-off with Catwoman as the main character of her own animated show. And that show would feature her with a completely black suit, just like in the movies, instead of the gray and black that we have here. And it could be a very interesting show. I just don't know if there are many stories you can tell with Catwoman, except for the usual stuff of her, getting into trouble and maybe get involved with some gangs or criminals. The underworld of Gotham is not as there's not much variety, sorry, as Batman stories, I believe. But anyway, and the episode has Catwoman in this museum with she meets Bruce in there, and she also meets Veronica Vreeland in there, and she sees these animals that are stuffed inside the glasses of the museum, and this causes her to feel repulse for Veronica Vreeland, of course, and she definitely doesn't like that woman. And then she leaves the museum, and Rhino, the one of the goons of Scarface, gets her and throws her inside the car. And the whole this is a cool scene because the car is very black, and she's very angry with whoever is kidnapping her, and she doesn't see who is in the beginning, but once the ventriloquist turns on the light, she gets scared to see the doll Scarface, but at the same time she starts laughing her ass off of the how ridiculous it is, this whole this whole gimmick of the ventriloquist and the doll. It's amazing. It's an awesome scene. And so yeah, we see Catwoman in the car with Scarface, and and he is gonna propose, and you know, propose her a job, and propose an alliance in a way, which, like I said, is the idea of the crossover, that the kind of crossover we have between villains in this show, which we didn't have as much here as the other show, The Batman. From 2004, we have more. We have a more variety, or at least more episodes with villains crossing over and getting together to fight Batman, and that's a pretty cool asset of that show. So here, Scarface proposes her that she will do a job against Veronica Vreeland, and in the meantime, she will be able to get revenge on the woman. And then she reluctantly accepts the job, which is an opportunity for her to dress as Catwoman again, and be able to go into a new adventure, so to speak. So we see again, we're back in the museum, and we see Isis distracting one of the guards of the museum at night. And this is where we're gonna have Catwoman sneaking into the place to do her job. Anyway, of course, Scarface has other plans for this whole job, right? He's actually taking advantage of her, because he wants her to steal some things, some jewelry for him. And since she's the best thief in town, she's the perfect one for this job. And eventually we see that Rhino, with an order from Scarface, he he sets the alarm in the museum, right, by shooting some flares inside the building. And this is all part of the second plan that Scarface has. So Catwoman has to find a getaway pretty fast from there. She climbs on the T-Rex skeleton of the museum. Every museum has a T-Rex skeleton, apparently. And there is a bomb in the skeleton, and Scarface uh, activates the bomb, and it explodes, and she falls from the the skeleton, and eventually the guard finds her, and she pretends to ask for help, but she's able to knock him out and get some keys to be able to escape the place. And then the cops arrive and all that stuff. You know, to be honest, this episode is quite well animated, I think. I mean, it's not the best one from the show, but I like the animation here. It's okay. It's an okay animation. Like I said, it's a forgettable episode. All the other ones besides this, in the season, or I mean the rest of the season that we're gonna comment, they are pretty cool in my opinion. All of them have great stories, or at least they are very striking, I think, in terms of story. But this one, not so much. It's not as boring as the Terrible Trio, or the other one with the Mad Hatter that we saw previously. This one is much more interesting, especially for the return of Catwoman and this little crossover with Scarface. It's the second time Scarface shows up in the show since his debut before. And so here, like I said, this is an element that makes the whole thing a little more interesting, but it's not a great episode by any means. So yeah, Batman arrives in her apartment, and he gets a little he gets into conflict with her for the whole fact that she's back in action. There is a little bit of the whole, banter between Batman and Catwoman in this episode, because of his he wants to help her. He wants to be, he's in love with her, obviously, as usual, but he wants her to follow the straight line so she doesn't get in danger, so she can have a life, that it doesn't involve him trying to put her in prison, which is a great point of conflict for the character, because we see that he doesn't want her to be this person that she is, but she cannot avoid it because her instinct, is to be the thief, this woman that is always in search for a thrill, and is always in search for an adventure that leads her to doing bad things in the sense of criminal things, right? And so this is a great conflict that we have here. So he tries to help her by going to the museum again, and finding out what happened with the guard, if he told the cops about her. And there again, Catwoman betrays him, as usual, right? He extends his hand to her, and she takes the advantage of that to follow with her deeds. And we have this fight in the museum, which is quite interesting. They fight around the big statues, and they actually fight over this huge statue of a whale. And Catwoman cuts the cable that the whale is on, that they are on, and the whole thing crashes into the glasses of the other statues in the place. So it's a little cool scene. Batman has to escape the scene very very fast because the cops arrive, and and as usual, Batman is smart enough to know that this was going to happen, that she was going to betray him. So she put a tracker on her so she could lead him straight to the source of the whole issue, that is Scarface. So, of course, because she was betrayed by Scarface, and that is probably the reason why she betrayed Batman, because she wants to deal with this toy guy, this doll in her own way. So she goes to find him in this warehouse of carpentry, right? With these huge trunks that are being cut by huge saws. And Scarface notices her presence, and he knocks some of these trunks down, and she falls into a treadmill with a saw that will cut her in half. This happened before in the episode. Um, what is the name? The great episode that we have in this show, Almost Caught Him. And again, the same thing is happening here. She's in a treadmill, almost being sawed or cut in half by the saw, and she's able to escape. And this is where we're gonna have the final battle between her, Scarface, and eventually Batman. I think this episode is okay. Like I said, it's not the worst ones. It's not one of the worst ones, but at the same time, I would, easily change this one for anyone, any episode that I said that was canceled in my video about canceled or discarded Batman stories for the show. We could have the one with Sandman, the actual Sandman from Neil Gaiman. That was one of the proposed episodes. We could have one with Batman being trapped and absent from the episode, and Robin is the one that has to save him. Speaking about Robin, just not trying to diverge too little or too much from the topic. He's not in this episode, right? So the whole theory that I had in the beginning of the episode with the opening showing Batman and Robin, because the episode was about both of them together, is not valid, right? But anyway, so here we have Catwoman. She is able to get the doll, the Scarface from the ventriloquist, using her whip to get the doll, and she throws it on the treadmill with the saw. So this is one of my favorite scenes with Scarface, which again, he has this element of almost like a Chucky from the Child's Play movies, that you can do whatever you want with the doll at the end of the movie. You can destroy it in the best and more creative ways possible. And this is something that I love about Scarface, that every portrayal of the doll, you have to destroy him in the end. You have to destroy him in a very interesting and creative way. Here, of course, the ventriloquist is able to save Scarface in the last second by turning the saw off. But then Catwoman, she pulls another lever on the control booth, and these trunks are are tossed on the doll and crush him very violently. And yeah, she's going to hurt or to torture now the ventriloquist, but he, as usual, says that it was not his fault. He was not the one who betrayed her. It was Scarface. And Batman is able to stop her from scratching the ventriloquist's face, apparently. And again, we're gonna have this final scene where Catwoman realizes that the tracker that she put on, that Batman put on her, was actually on Isis, her cat. And they're gonna have this argument again about the whole issue of the cat and the law, and how she must do the right thing. And the right thing is to give herself to the authorities. But of course, she's not going to do that. In fact, she throws the item that Scarface asks her to steal in the fire, so that Batman is distracted trying to get the item, and she's able to escape. And this is where we're gonna have probably one of the most famous memes of this show, that is Batman with a sad face, disappointed with her, and her her deciding to be an outlaw once again. And then we have this very cool final shot with her on top of the building, and the moon behind. And this is it, Catwalk. An episode that is, okay. We have to go through this one to get to the better ones in the end of this season. But anyway, thank you very much if you watched this commentary. If you are liking the videos about Batman the Animated Series, commentaries, or any other video in this channel, please don't forget to leave your beloved like and wonderful subscription, so we can keep talking about Batman and DC Universe forever, alright? See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.